archipietrada. Polaris. Polaris.
Hi everyone, Simon Foster here, Festival Director of the Sydney Science Fiction Film Festival. We are very fortunate to have with us all the way from the United States, the lead actress in our featured film this year. The movie is Polaris. The actress is VIVA LEE, and she joins us now from Los Angeles. VIVA, thank you so much for being here with us as on the Sydney Science Fiction Film Festival channel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to speak with you.
Ah, that's very sweet of you. I am in love with this film. When I heard that A, Kirsten Carthew was directing, and B, it had opened Fantasia, I knew this was the film I had to have. I guess as a young working actress in the heart of the industry where you are right now with a critically acclaimed lead performance in a festival hit to your name, how is life for VIVA LEE at the moment?
Life is good. Currently, I am working on a project right now in Los Angeles,
Nice.
which is super fun, super amazing. But since it is summer break, I have had a lot of downtime. So I've been doing lots of training with martial arts and singing and dancing. But then when I'm not doing that, I'm just a normal kid. You know, I'm swimming in our pool. I'm roller skating back here.
Oh, God, I was going to say, that's so much space you've got there. What goes on in that room?
This is called like the party room or the entertainment room.
Nice.
So we just kind of moved, so it's completely empty. So I've been putting my roller skates on. I've just been like zooming around like laps, turning party music on and disco lights.
Right. This is the way to live. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's get to Polaris. Give us some insight into Sumi's story. No spoilers, but for the audience out there that don't know what Polaris is, what is Polaris about?
Well, Sumi is very unique. She's very feral, but at the same time, she's very intelligent. She was raised by a polar bear, but she's still clearly a very human child in the future. And yet she still has lots of characteristics from her mother. She's bold, she's brave, a little violent.
It is a little violent, the film. We should point out that as much as it speaks wonderfully to a younger audience, it's not exactly a family film because there are some moments in there that can shock.
I love it. I watch it with my family.
Sure, yeah, of course. Why not? Everyone come along. When you first read the script, was it those elements that drew you to Sumi? What did you see in her character that made her seem like an interesting acting choice?
First of all, the audition process was very, very different. There's little to no lines in the audition. And as an actor, getting a script with no lines can be very challenging. Because you have to like pick different cues and clues like a detective almost. The script is so beautiful. It just painted a picture in my mind almost. And I could tell that there had to be a specific level of physicality. So I pulled out like furniture and I was like jumping on ottomans and walking on all fours, seeing different sounds I could make. I was like growling. I was like, growl. And I was just trying different stuff out. Actually, recently I saw that first audition tape and I was cringing so hard when I watched it back. I've definitely seen that Sumi has come a very long way with character development. But when I landed in the amazing Yukon, it was again very different because I was walking and running and jumping in a 4-foot high snow, trying to look beautiful and amazing and natural without, face planting in all my wardrobe.
You look all those things in the film, but you're right. To actually sit here opposite you and hear such eloquence and hear you speak about it in this way, compared to the wild child that you portray in the film, is quite extraordinary. It's such a transformation. Had you ever done anything like that before? Had you ever, and you're way too young to remember this, but there was a movie many years ago called Quest for Fire, which was about cavemen and cave women and the clan life as a part of a cave person sort of community. And they did the same thing. They created their own language, was just a series of grunts and sort of to communicate. And that's what I was reminded of. And it's considered a bit of a classic of the genre. So you're in very rarefied company with this sort of performance. Were there any past productions, past performances that inspired you, that you looked to help create the character?
Well, Sumi's very different. She's a very original character. Yeah. So there's nothing really like her out there. I did look at polar bears as a species for inspiration, like the entire species of polar bears. And yeah, our director, Miss Kirsten, she called it almost like an Arctic Mad Max, yep, which I quite liked, with like all the women and very powerful storytelling. But it's very different from anything I've seen.
Yeah.
So there's nothing specific that I took inspiration from. But for the guttural noises, I kind of was inspired by death metal.
Right, you're freaking me out, Viva. You really are. You're going all these weird places. Were you a fan before of death metal, or?
Actually, I've always liked lots of different genres of music, and I did like punk rock and stuff. But then I was doing these really like all these noises, and they were starting to hurt my throat, kind of. Sure. So I searched up and studied a bit of death metal, and then I fell in love with death metal. So I do like death metal now. So that's a little side note.
That's very cool. You raised a couple of points that I want to touch on. Working with Miss Kirsten, as you called her, I interviewed her a few years ago now for Sun at Midnight. I think it was her first film. You're working with her, working on an all-female identifying shoot. Few actresses, I was going to say of your age, but really of any age, will ever get that opportunity. What did that aspect of the production come to mean to you, that it was an all-female identifying cast and crew?
I'm so glad that you've asked this question, Mr. Simon. I've done quite a few interviews and nobody's asked this question, and I really appreciate it. It's a very important part for me. To be a lead in a all-female identifying film it's incredible, and I'm very proud that I got to do that. I mean, women getting to take up space and taking lives, being fierce and ferocious. I mean, they're the nurturers, and they are the empaths, and then there's the psychopaths. There are no restrictions, and I really love that.
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, I'm surprised you haven't been asked about it, because it is such a significant aspect of the production, and it was central to why I decided to program it as part of the festival, where we try to be very inclusive and very progressive in what we do. And I want to come to a point, and it's a long way off, of course, where these sort of films with all female cast and crew don't have to be pointed out, that they just are the norm. So I hope with this film and with our festival, we can make a bit of a step in that direction. Okay, let's get to you've mentioned the getting into the snow and face planting into the snow. Describe in a bit more detail filming in the harshest corners of Canada's amazing landscape. What were the daily challenges you were faced with?
So the daily challenges were walking, going outside. No. Daily challenges. I mean, we shot Polaris at the height of the pandemic.
Oh.
So, I mean, the weather was already affected, environmental impact, and the Yukon had a record-breaking snowfall. And when I got there, it was below 40 degrees. It was very cold, so cold. It took me a while to get used to it, but some of my fondest moments are during that time. I mean, we got to ride snowmobiles through frozen lakes to get to location. And the sparkling snow in the air looked like we were in a snow globe. And I remember our amazing director, Miss Kirsten, and she would like pull me to the side and give me her mittens with hot hands in them, and she would hold my hands to make me warm. I mean, most people don't think I would even remember this stuff, but I mean, I think I'll always remember it.
Of course, yeah. No, it's an extraordinarily unique experience. Let's get to your amazing co-star. Well, co-stars, I want to talk about the actress you worked opposite as well, but also let's talk about the extraordinary scenes with your polar bear. What level of training did you have to go through to prepare for those scenes? What was the reality of shooting those moments like?
Well, for Polaris, Mama Bear, a lot of it is movie magic.
That's what I thought. Okay, I didn't want to spoil the magic, but I knew there was a little bit in there, but it's imperceptible. You literally can't tell. I thought they were extraordinary scenes. So don't spoil that part of the magic for us, but just creating that character with the polar bear in scene.
Well, I mean, my amazing co-star, Aggie, is probably one of the most famous polar bears in the world. I mean, if you've seen all those Coca-Cola commercials or anything with a polar bear in it, I mean, that's probably my girl Aggie.
Oh.
Being the daughter of a polar bear, like I said, I learned lots about polar bears. I learned how they walked. They have this very flowy motion to them. And then I learned how they eat. And I learned the sounds they make, how they fight.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, all of that was pretty crazy and cool.
And we should mention Frozen Girl, your beautiful co-star, Camissa Wilshire. You, as your character softens in her presence, the chemistry between you two is just beautiful to watch. Did Miss Kirsten give you much sort of rehearsal period? Was there a period of time where you were able to work with the rest of the cast and crew? What are you shaking your head at?
Not at all. Not at all. Because we were filming in the height of the pandemic. It was crazy. I actually just got back from LA into Vancouver. So I was quarantining for 2 weeks. And then I got the role, which is so incredible. And then I went to the Yukon and quarantined for another 2 weeks. So I was quarantining for like 4 weeks straight. Insane. But then no, we did have Zoom calls, me and Miss Kirsten, where we were trying to figure out like different words and different sounds in my character. But I never actually got to meet anyone until I filmed with them, which is pretty insane. But like you were talking about our relationship, another thing about Polaris, I think it's very much about relationships because we see Sumi go through this journey and she meets all these strangers. And I noticed that she kind of reacts to them. She treats them how they treat her. Like, oh, I don't want to give away spoilers.
No, I understand. But you're right. Yes, it does. It's a very human portrayal in a very sort of inhuman climate and landscape. It's a very human film and one that sort of gets to the heart of what being a human is.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess finally send out a message to the Australian audience for Polaris. What do you hope they take from the film?
What I hope you take from the film, I mean, keep your eyes on the stars. They have all the answers.
That's a great answer.
I'm so lucky that I'm from and I've been to so many places. I'm so proud to be Aussie and proud that other Aussies will see this. And I really hope that anybody out there, I hope you guys watch this movie. It's so beautiful and it's so bold and it'll really make you think. I love you.
That's very sweet of you, Viva. It's been so lovely to give us your time. Congratulations on Polaris. We hope we're a very small part of the festival's success and the ongoing success of the film as it rolls out across the world. So Viva Lee, thank you so much, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. I love talking to you, and I loved your interview questions. They're very fresh. I enjoyed them very much.
Thanks, Viva.
Thanks.
All right.